You hear your neighbors screaming outside, and before you can even understand what's happening, pieces of trees and heavy rain slam against your windows and house. When you step outside, you're met with a terrifying scene. Driven by fear and instinct, you run to the nearest shelter, right? But even the roof of the shelter can't withstand the wind and is blown away. This is the sheer power of an EF5 tornado, a devastating and unstoppable force. This is the story of the 2013 Moore tornado, an incredibly destructive and unavoidable natural disaster. On May 20th, 2013, a powerful tornado was about to begin, lasting approximately 40 minutes but leaving a significant impact. The National Weather Service, NWS, issued a tornado warning for Moore and the surrounding areas 16 minutes before the tornado formed. This warning was issued immediately after experts observed that the atmospheric conditions in the region were rapidly developing into supercell storms. Experts noted that these types of storms are highly influenced by factors such as high humidity, warm air, and strong wind shear. They also emphasized that Oklahoma is particularly vulnerable due to these atmospheric risks. The tornado first began in the town of Newcastle, and although it wasn't very strong there, it still caused damage to many buildings and tore off roofs. Even though it hadn't reached its full strength in Newcastle, it proved how poorly the buildings were constructed. After Newcastle, the tornado quickly moved toward the city of Moore, where it reached its full strength at EF5 level. The greatest destruction happened in Moore, where schools, homes, businesses, hospitals, and supermarkets were almost entirely destroyed. The tornado quickly moved from Newcastle to Moore, and as it advanced, it absorbed the warm and humid air needed to grow, carried by winds from the Gulf of Mexico. The humid air from the south collided with cooler, drier air coming from the north, which caused the tornado to intensify and reach EF5 status. Wind shear increased rotational movements in the atmosphere, making the tornado even more destructive. As the tornado moved toward Moore, the wind direction varied. Southerly winds dominated in the upper levels of the atmosphere, while at the surface the winds shifted from east to west. This allowed the tornado to accelerate and expand. By around 3:30 p.m., when the tornado reached Moore, it had fully reached EF5 strength. The wind speeds had escalated to 340 kilometers per hour, 210 miles per hour, and its width had grown to 2.1 kilometers, 1.3 miles, leading to the devastation of Moore. One of the most heartbreaking moments was the destruction of Plaza Towers Elementary School, where 7 children tragically lost their lives. This event not only caused immense sorrow, but also deeply impacted the mental health of many children who survived the disaster. The power of the tornado was so immense that it could rip buildings from their foundations. The intensity of the winds nearly obliterated Moore. However, thankfully, the loss of life was not as devastating as it could have been. Still, 24 people lost their lives, and the number of injured was recorded as 377. The National Weather Service issued warnings for Newcastle and Moore 16 minutes before the tornado began. These warnings allowed many people to seek shelter or move to safer locations. Despite this, experts could not predict that the tornado would suddenly escalate to an EF5 level, which contributed to the extent of the losses due to inadequate infrastructure and a lack of proper shelters. One of the primary reasons for the tornado's unprecedented strength was the combination of high humidity, rising temperatures, and strong winds, which created the perfect conditions for such a massive supercell storm to form.
Within this particular tornado, and so certainly that is enough to cause major damage. And you can see this very fat, very low wedge tornado, as we call it, and a very wide tornado at this point. Kim Kelly, over to you.
All right, Carl, we're getting some information as well that is possibly a half mile to a mile wide, and the helicopter that is giving us this video of this, or this live shot of this, is saying it's being pulled into the inflow, that it's such a strong inflow that it's having a hard time out there right now, and it's hit.
Okay, we'll get into that a little bit.
The aftermath of this tornado was devastating. The financial damage was estimated to be around $2 billion, with homes, public buildings, schools, and infrastructure suffering severe destruction. These damages were calculated based on insurance reports and federal evaluations. Tragically, 24 lives were lost, including 7 children who died when Plaza Towers Elementary School collapsed. The number of injured was recorded at 377, with most injuries caused by collapsing buildings and flying debris. 1,150 homes were completely destroyed, and thousands more suffered severe damage. A significant portion of businesses, public buildings, supermarkets, and hospitals were also destroyed. Thousands of people were left without electricity for days, while water, natural gas, and communication lines were heavily damaged. Roads and bridges were completely destroyed, making it difficult to deliver aid to affected areas. The local impacts of the tornado lasted for years. Many small businesses were forced to shut down, and the trauma caused by the tornado left long-term effects, especially on children. The destruction and emotional toll left behind by this tornado were enormous. Finally, we have footage taken immediately after the tornado by a family, capturing the raw aftermath of this disaster. Thank you to everyone watching. If you'd like to support us and see more videos about natural disasters like this one, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. It means the world to us.
Keeping us safe. Thank you, God. Jay, if it's still windy, I want you to stay.
Okay. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.